Hey everybody, this is Mr. L Sidekick here, welcoming you to a new series. This is the first update in a while for the channel, so well, I thought it'd be a nice little fun little thing to do. If you're wondering where Peter is, well, I mean, we've both been kind of busy, so. Well, I thought I'd decide to do a little bit of my own. I'm gonna play this. So Super Metroid is one of my favorite games. I think I've talked about it in the Banjo-Kazooie playthrough that I was playing through this. But it's a good game, and well, I guess I'm gonna show you all how it's done. I'm not street enough for that. So yeah, I'm gonna be playing Super Metroid. Yeah. So I have. I'm not. As you can see, I'm not the
last
best.
Metroid is in captivity. The galaxy is at peace.
I don't remember there being narration to this. I did. Okay. I did not remember that line being spoken. It shows you how little I've actually seen through this intro. Okay, so when I usually play this game, I usually end up using the Game Genie cheat that allows you to skip this entire opening cutscene and land on planet Zebes, or Zebes, however you want to pronounce it. I pronounce it Zebes because it just seems right to me that way. So I did not remember that opening narration for the last Metroid was in captivity and whatnot. So yeah, I'm gonna do my I'm gonna try it to do Samus voice. I first battled the Metroids on planet Zebes. It was there that I foiled the plans of the space pirate leader, Mother Brain, to use the creatures to attack the galactic civilization. Alright, so for those that haven't actually played a Metroid game before, this is the third game in the series, although chronologically it's the 6th? Well, 7th or 8th, depending on where in the timeline Metroid Prime 4 is gonna fall. But this technically is Metroid 3, quote unquote. They even said so in the opening cutscene. So this entire little opening cutscene, well, the intro to the story is a recap of the events of Metroid 1 and Metroid 2, Return of Samus. So yeah, the first events where she landed on planet Zebes was the events of Game 1, and this next little paragraph is Game 2. I next fought the Metroids on their homeworld, SR-388. I completely eradicated them, except for a larva, which, after hatching, followed me like a confused child. So, I mean, I'm not gonna beat around the bush. This kinda is just the plot of Alien, and the entire Alien series, in a sense, with the Metroids being the analogous to the Xenomorphs, in a sense. But I think Super Metroid has a better story than Alien 3 did, but that's, I mean, to each their own. There are probably people out there that like Alien 3. I don't. If you do, good for you. I just can't get behind it. I love Alien. I love Aliens. Like Prometheus. Like Alien Covenant. Just skip over Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection and the AVP series. I personally delivered it to the Galactic Research Station at Ceres, so scientists could study its energy-producing qualities. lots of black and white photos. It makes me think, a little tidbit that I actually found out because of, I've been watching a playthrough of Persona 5, Johnny Awesomes. He's a good YouTuber. Definitely check him out if you can. But I found out that through that game that apparently we as a human race didn't really dream in color until the advent of the color television. So that's it's a little interesting little tidbit, which makes me think of when I see like the little flashbacks in black and white in this, it reminds me of that. The scientists' findings were astounding. They discovered that the powers of the Metroid might be harnessed for the good of civilization. Wait, there's one guy that looks like a monkey, but I can't remember. One of the guys, the scientist in that image, looks like a monkey, but I can't remember which one. And I knew it at some point, but I was like, hey, that guy looks like a monkey. Or, you know, the monkey!
Monkey!
As Bowser would say it. Satisfied that all was well, I left the station to seek a new bounty to hunt, but I'd hardly gone beyond the asteroid belt when I picked up a distress signal. Sarah's station was under attack. Alright, and now we're actually into the gameplay of Super Metroid. That's pretty much the only story that you get for the entire game. And it's at least, well, if you do quickly, it's a 2-hour about game. So yeah, here we go as the Samus of no, I don't think she's really ill repute. She saved the galaxy several times at this point, so like, I mean, I mean, she's still a bounty hunter though, and well, we all know that bounty hunters are either just the cool anti-hero, or they fall into a Sarlacc pit after crashing into the side of a ship. So there's not really in between. I feel that Samus is on the better side, if there's a better side. Anyways, we're into the first boss fight as we are fighting Ridley, and I mean, there's not really much point in actually trying to fight him because you can't beat him. But there is a little interesting thing that if you do enough damage to him, which I didn't, if you do enough damage to him during this fight, you can actually make him drop the baby Metroid. And, well, it's kind of funny. So there's, in a sense, you did beat the boss, but at the same time, you didn't, because he still gets away with the baby Metroid. But he does drop it. Twist it. That's the new bop it command. Drop it. Also, this music is really loud. I hope it's not as loud as it is in my ears as it is on the recording. So you can make him drop it, but it doesn't really do anything. No, not really. It's just a little interesting tidbit. So what this entire little opening sequence means is that Space Pirates are back, because Ridley is Mother Brain's right-hand dragon? I mean, he looks like a pterodactyl, but I think he's supposed to be a dragon. I never really understood that. He's the right-hand dragon to Mother Brain. So that means that Mother Brain or the Space Pirates are back in some form, even though we destroyed their base a couple of years ago. And now they have the baby Metroid, so who knows what they're going to be wanting to do with that. And, well, now that we're actually on Zebes, we're Zebes. I'm just gonna keep changing the way I say Zebes, Zebes. Just whatever I really feel like. I've never actually done talking a lot while playing this game, so I guess I've... That would be a good time to actually say. Well, actually, decide whether or not I really want to say Zebra Zebus. It's like the zebra debacle. I mean, I'm not really sure whether to call it a true debacle, because it's, I mean, if you say zebra or zebra, it doesn't really matter. I mean, T-Rex has that song where they say zebra to make it rhyme with Deborah. But that's to the extent of the whole debacle. Also, we got the morphing ball. It's the first item that everyone should get, unless you're doing a randomized run, when they replace it with the, why can't I remember the name of it? That's... What is it called? Is it the stat? I want to call it the static shock, but I know it's not that. It's gonna bug me. I mean, we're gonna get the item eventually, but it's the zappy thing. The thing that when you jump into a ball, it makes you go electricity. That's what it does. I'm gonna call it the static shock, even though that's a superhero. Also getting a bunch of missiles along the way. These missiles help you progress. They make you open doors. I mean, they don't force you to open the doors. They just help you. You know what I mean. What is it called? What is that item called? Is it? I think it's shock something, but I can't remember the actual name of it. This is weird. I never usually have this kind of problem. Okay, need to next time go into this with actual notes. Although, then again, if you had asked me this morning, I would probably say, oh yeah, it's the static shocker shocky. It's the shocker gloves, or whatever. It's not the shocker gloves, I know that. I mean, but I just can't remember it now. The LP curse not only affects gameplay, but it also affects memory. I mean, I hope it doesn't affect gameplay. I actually want to do decently well. I mean, now I'm gonna state this outright. I know how to do some tricks in this game. I'm not a speedrunner, but I can do a decent amount of cool stuff, you could call it. But I'm not perfect. I'm not going to get like a hour time. I'm gonna do it quickly enough. I'm gonna get the quote unquote good ending with, because there's no really bad ending. It's really just more how much of the armor is still on Samus when you get to the end of the game. If you beat it in under 3 hours, you get to see Zero Suit. Any more than that, you get partial armor, and then if you're like 8 hours, then you have full suit of armor still on. Which I did on my first try, but I've never had that again. And oh, here we are to the second boss fight. If he's gonna get up, there you are. There you are, Chozo. Or Terizo, apparently your actual name is. Because you're not a Chozo. What? I think I just activated sticky keys. When I don't have sticky keys turned on. That was weird. I mean, that's a really easy boss fight now. But I remember this boss fight has it's kind of, you could say, special to me, because it's one of my only memories from when I was a child of Super Metroid. Because I never owned this game as a kid, didn't get it for the Virtual Console on the Wii, so I never really played it until I was about 17, which is, well, actually 18. So it's been less than a year since I've actually first started playing this. But I do remember I used to watch like speed runs when I was really young, and one of the speed runs that I would watch is the Super Metroid one. And I remember whenever we got to that room for the first time, I was like, oh, that's cool. And then the statue started moving, and I was scared out of my wits. And I was like, oh no, I can never play that. What if the bird statues keep attacking me every time I try to get an item? I don't like that. And I mean, I guess that was Nintendo's point. Like, they were trying to make you wary, like, ooh, you never know what's going to be around the next corner. Anything could come alive and attack you suddenly. And I mean, there's only 2 Chorizo statues like that in the game. We just fought one, and the other is at the end, way end of the game. But it scared me, and I didn't play a Metroid game for a long time after that. I mean, looking back on it, I really don't have a reason to be scared, but at the time it was spooky. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to be doing a little trick that you shouldn't be doing if it's your first few runs, but I actually managed to do it on my first run. And I wouldn't say perfectly, it took me a bit, but I actually did learn this. And that trick is called the Mach Ball. Basically, in this room over here, there's speed boosters that you can't, or doors you can't get through without the speed booster. However, if you perform a certain, like, step process, and, like, you jump through the door, and then immediately go into the ball, you can go like super speed with the ball, and you can bypass the doors that way. And if you do that, you can get super missiles earlier than you're supposed to, which I'm gonna try and do that. Alright, okay, if I go quiet, it's because I'm concentrating. Come on. Well, that Samus, you gotta get into the ball to actually make the Mach Ball work. It's not how it works. The thing is, I have done this before. I've done it on my first tries before, with a lot of practice, but nope. You gotta get into that ball, Samus. This isn't an easy trick by any stretch of the imagination. It requires kind of precise timing, or there we go. 3rd time's the charm. I knew it had to work eventually. The Let's Play curse isn't that bad. But yeah, with that you can get some items that you're not supposed to, like your first reserve tank, or super missiles, as well as 2 other missiles. Okay. With this room, I want to point out one of my gripes with the game. Every time you get any kind of power-up, that happens. And you can't exit that little screen until after that music plays. And when you're getting a lot of items, basically, if you're going for 100%, you're going to be hearing that tune way too much. And that's my one gripe. It's a nice little sting for once in a while. If you got it with, like, your major power-ups, that would be cool. Like, if you got it with, like, the Varia suit, or the Gravity suit, or the X-ray scope, even though no one uses the X-ray scope, really, but if you got it with, like, those kind of power-ups, that would be cool. You would feel a sense of achievement. However, since you get it with every last little upgrade, then it suddenly kind of loses its merit. And the sad thing is, that's the only gripe I have with the music in this game. Everything else, I love. It has such an atmospheric music that I love it, but why do we have to hear that one so many times? Another little speed running trick, triangle jumping. If you're speed running, you're gonna be doing a lot of triangle jumping to get to things that you're not supposed to be at yet. And some of the triangle jumps can be really tricky. Like, there's one coming up in Norfair that I'm not really excited for, because it's really annoying. But I'm gonna do it anyways, because, you know, that's just me. Alright, so you're supposed to go upwards and fight the first boss, quote-unquote first boss. I guess it's really the second, because you have to fight the chorizo statue. Spore Spawn is the boss's name, and after you beat Spore Spawn, you find a chamber with super missiles in it, and you're supposed to use that to get through the door that we just went through. However, since we Mach Balled our way to get super missiles early, we don't need to do that, and we'll be picking up the super missiles on the next go around. So yeah, I'm also going to be doing a little thing out of order. I've never really seen someone do this next thing that I'm about to do. And that's, if you're good at wall jumping, you can make your way up here and you can get power bombs also early. Of course, you wanna. The reason why I'm clearing this is because the way that you're supposed to do it is you're supposed to freeze these enemies with the ice beam. However, we don't have the ice beam. So we are going to have to. This is we don't have the ice beam, so we can't really use that method. This is an annoying series of jumps, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Or I'm gonna try to do it. I might lose my mind while I'm doing this, but if the footage suddenly skips to a successful attempt, you'll know why, because that means I've been here for way too long. And I know you can do this. There we go. See, I have to threaten the video that I'm going to edit it in order for me to actually be able to do something. For the game to allow me to actually proceed. Don't take that advice any wrongly. Don't make the case like, oh, threatening someone is gonna make them do things. No, don't do that. That's not cool. It's a video game. Do video games count as people? That's a philosophical debate I'm not willing to have at this point. But if you go down here and shoot, you can get power bombs early, which is good, because now I can do things that I wasn't supposed to yet. Much like the rest of the game, sequence breaking. You sequence break a lot if you want really good times in Super Metroid. Because that's just the nature of this game. And I really do like that. If for experienced players, Nintendo kind of was like, hey. Oh, boy. Get out, get out, get out, get... Oh, I'm gonna die. Oh, thank goodness I had the reserve tank. Oh, I thought I was dead and I hadn't saved at any point, so that would have been not so Gucci. Oh, that would have been terrible. Whew. I thought I was gonna have to start this episode over. And that would have been fun, because I don't like to do things more than once that I have to. Whew. Apparently I am out of practice with this. Alright, so since I'm actually at a point that I think is good enough for stopping, I'm gonna stop it here. So next time on Super Metroid, we're gonna head back around getting some stuff that we couldn't before, now that we have power bombs. And we're even gonna fight Spore Spawn and maybe even get to Kraid next time. Who knows? I don't know anything. Alright, see you guys next time.